Hey, good morning or afternoon, college English students. So what's up? What have you guys been up to? Me? Oh, not much. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about the final paper. I know people have emailed me with questions. A lot of the questions have been the same as other kids in class, which leads me to believe that A, it would have been great if some of you stopped by in my virtual office hours so we could all talk about it together and see each other's faces. But B, I thought I would just post a video with just some informative stuff and some helpful stuff. So first of all, your final paper, if you go back on my website to May 4th, you'll see when I assigned the assignment. You'll also see a YouTube link to with a video about like some stuff about what might be helpful, how you might frame the paper, how you might look at it. If you have questions, come and ask me. Actually, you can't come and ask me. Email me. I wish you could come and ask me. A couple things just to know. Number one, this paper will be due on Wednesday, May 27th. Your quote-unquote last day in school is May 28th, not graduation, last day in school, but I need it at least a day in advance so that I can grade it, okay? The paper, because this is a college class, it needs to be at least 3 pages, okay? It needs to be at least 3 pages. Some of you have asked, how's it gonna be graded? And I am not going to do anything fancy. I usually have a special rubric that I do just for this paper, but since I couldn't really explain it to you in person, I'm using the writing rubric that I've been using all year long to grade you, the one that's posted in my room, the one that I passed out to you at the beginning of the year, one that you should be pretty familiar with. If you don't have it, if you lost it, don't fear. I am going to attach it as an attachment to my website and to Google Classroom, okay? And so those are some sort of black and white rules for the paper. Now, I just thought it would be helpful. There's usually an activity I do with you folks at the end of the year where I've kept some really good papers over the years, and these are them. I won't tell you whose they are, even though one of them's sister wrote one last year, one of you's sisters. But usually I divide up the papers and I ask you folks to sort of mark them up and say, hey, what worked well for this, what didn't, whatever. But these were good papers, and just in case you're wondering about a thesis statement, here are some ideas. And by the way, I would like a thesis statement, okay? An argumentative claim that's going to guide your paper. Think thesis statement, think organized paragraphs with topic sentences. We're going back to the OG way of writing for this. The title of this one was called Common Addictions in Maine. I'm not going to read the whole intro to you, but it says, although Maine seems to be pleasant from the outside, in 2017 it was one of the top 10 states with the highest overdose death involving opioids in the United States. The legalization of recreational marijuana has played a large role in the state's drug culture. And then the thesis. In his book Trespasser, Paul Doiron explores how substance abuse has become a big problem for many people who live in this constantly changing state. The main character, Mike Bowditch, a game warden who goes on medical leave, is no exception. Mike is battling several addictions. The thesis, of course, would be the main character, Mike Bowditch, a game warden who goes on medical leave, is no exception. Mike is battling several addictions. Another kid took a different kind of tangent on it, talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, depression and anxiety, and how that can lead to it. Mike Bowditch has been thrown directly into a situation that will trigger memories of the search from his father, as well as his ultimate demise. That's because in the first book, something happens with his father. And then here's the thesis statement. For the reason that Mike Bowditch seems to exhibit many of the textbook symptoms, I believe he is suffering from an undiagnosed case of post-traumatic stress disorder. Then what this kid did was she researched parts of the book where Mike showed elements of this, but also did a little bit of outside research on what are the sort of elements of PTSD. This kid did something about law enforcement and how, law enforcement is tough in Maine because of its rural landscape and high frequency of domestic violence, and how although all law enforcement officers, game wardens, etc. should command respect, it's obvious that Mike is the most disrespected game warden in the world, and other Maine law enforcement officers need to be given better respect. And shown that throughout the book, and then maybe did some research on police brutality or internal investigations or cops making mistakes, doing something wrong. Don't worry, I'm almost done with this. Another kid, this is a good one to do. It's all about the setting in Maine, how, comparing how like the Down East magazines and stuff show what Maine is like. In the novel Trespasser, Paul Doiron portrays Maine almost as ugly as he focuses on spring mud season in March. He claims it's constantly muddy and cold. And then here's the thesis. Although Paul Doiron portrays Maine to be a severely depressing place to live, I believe that Maine is one of the most desirable places to live. Oh my God, this person used the word I. Yes, they did. And it's okay. It's okay. You can use I. Aye? All right. And then one more, and if you've watched this video to the end, that means you're a great student. Another young lady, another one about addiction and why our state leads to different addictions, not just opioids, not just drugs, but other things. Here's this thesis statement. In Trespasser by Paul Doiron, the main character, Mike Bowditch, has 3 severe addictions: substance abuse, work, and the need to control. And then that paper practically wrote itself, because then this young lady could have a good paragraph about substance abuse and then some stats about it in real Maine, about work, workaholics, and not the show. If you haven't watched the show, it's funny. And controlling situations. So anyway, this was just a myriad of things kids did. I would really be interested to know your ideas. Remember, there's no assignment physically due this week. I just would like you to start working on your paper and maybe send me drafts, thesis statements, etc. Hope you all have a great long weekend, and you're a great audience, and peace out.